This podcast is brought to you by RX Smart Gear. Whether you're just starting out in your fitness journey or an avid workout enthusiast, a jump rope is one of the most essential pieces of equipment you should have in your workout arsenal, and I cannot recommend RX Smart Gear jump ropes highly enough. I've been using the RX Smart Gear jump rope for close to 10 years now. The quality, variety, customization are beyond compare. I actually did a workout yesterday with my first RX Smart Gear rope that I got almost 10 years ago, and it's still an amazing addition, still worked out great for the workout that I did. I love these ropes. Not only are they dedicated to constantly improving and challenging the community with their variety of ropes, but they're also dedicated to the education when it comes to their ropes and promote proper movement and technique patterns, which we of course love at Power Monkey Fitness. They've recently launched their new Frevo rope, which is made of a high-impact polymer that can withstand up to a 50-pound dumbbell impact. With grippy handles and smooth transitions between drills, you cannot lose with this rope. Take your freestyle game to another level and visit rxsmartgear.com and order your rope today. Welcome to the Power Monkey Podcast, where we chat with the best in the world about what they do. I'm your host, Dave Durante, with my co-host, Mike Service, and on today's episode, we have Cody Anderson. I love this conversation. It was great to finally catch up with Cody and chat with him a little bit about some of the things he's got going on in his life. Most people know him from his amazing tricks on the gymnastic side, having come from a gymnastics background, but he is also a 3-time CrossFit Games competitor, finishing in the top 10 back in 2018 at his last games. He is an affiliate owner owning CrossFit Magnify in Central Oregon, bringing a lot of that gymnastics technical expertise to his members on a daily basis. But he's transitioned from competing in the CrossFit space to now working in a new arena, trying to compete in the tactical games. We talk about this transition, still using a lot of the tenets and the training that he learned in the CrossFit space and applying it to a new area, what he intends to do with some of these gymnastics tricks that he's always playing around with, and also some of those amazing things he's able to do on the weightlifting side. He is an incredible athlete in so many areas. It was great chatting with him about some of the other things he's got going on in his life, and we hope you guys enjoy this episode. Thanks for taking the time today, man. It's good to finally get a chance to chat a little bit, and I'll let Jordan kind of give a couple comments before we jump into it.
Cool. I mean, if everybody wouldn't mind just making sure their phone's set to do not disturb, that'd be appreciated. And I'm sure you know who Dave is. You familiar with our weightlifting head coach, Mike Service here?
Yeah, I've kind of followed the Power Monkey thing since you guys basically started. So good to finally get to meet all of you guys.
Our first chance to invite you to come hang out with us then.
Yeah, man. How come that hasn't happened yet?
I don't know. We've all been busy.
Well, Mike, are you all good? You ready to?
Yeah, I just want to make sure that Cody trusts us. And since Jordan doesn't have his mustache anymore, so there was a point in time, Cody, when I did want to be like you. I still do.
Where you look like you're on 12 cups of coffee.
Yeah.
I remember you taught a course that was at Kailua.
Yeah,
at CrossFit Kailua at Nicole's gym.
All that footage I took is useless because had the mustache.
Yeah. No, yours looks much more natural. Mine just looked like a fake mustache that I clipped.
Oh no, dude, yours looks legit. I'm jealous of it.
So jumping in really quickly on what's current, and we're recording this on October 5th. So for anyone listening a little bit after, Gymnastics World Championships is going on right now. And I know you were a gymnast for a short period of time, maybe 4 or 5 years when you were younger. Mm-hmm. First, do you still follow gymnastics at all in any capacity? Do you know that Gymnastics World Championships is going on right now?
I have to admit, no. I wish. I mean, I love watching it. I watched the Olympics last time it was going on a little bit, but yeah, I was mostly just consumed with the CrossFit world after I started CrossFit. But
understandable. I just want to give a shout out to the U.S. men's team for having finished in bronze medal position for the first time in over a decade. They kicked ass the other day, and the women just, again, nonchalantly won gold for the 7th time in a row. World champions again. They are seemingly unstoppable, especially with Simone back on the team. But even though you have a relatively short gymnastics career under your belt, you're still known as one of the gymnasts within the CrossFit community. Mm-hmm. And recently, you put up some videos of doing some circles and flares on some stacked plates, and I want to make some notes about it. I want to get your thoughts on it because they were done very well. When was the last time you actually did any circles on pommel horse or mushroom?
Thanks. Dude, it's been a long time. I think when I dropped into a gym in Hawaii in like 2014, they had a pommel horse in there. And so I decided to try my old compulsory like level, or I guess back then it was like class 6 routine or something. But yeah, so it's been probably close to 10 years, maybe 8 or 9.
It was impressive. And I think I actually know the gym. CrossFit Oahu used to have a pommel horse in it.
I think that was it. Yeah.
And that was the first gym that Mike and I did a course set together 12 years ago. Remember that, Mike?
Yeah. It was like 12. Yeah. 12.
2011.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly 12 years ago.
And that gym was always close to my heart. Say, okay, early CrossFit, the pommel horse in the gym, this is a good place to be at. So I'll give a shout out to CrossFit Oahu for being ahead of the game when it comes to gymnastics.
Yeah.
But you were actually coaching some people through some pommel horse stuff. Did you ever actually coach as a gymnast, or is it just something you retained while from your competitive days?
I did. I did gymnastics from like 8 to 12. So I was never I wasn't Dave Durante level or anything, but I coached gymnastics. I think I started when I was 16. It was like my first or maybe my second real job. And started CrossFit when I was 18. So I kind of had a coaching background already. Once I started CrossFit, I kind of just went all in on CrossFit. But yeah, probably like 2 years of teaching gymnastics to kids.
Love it. And one of the things that stood out to me was I had a coach that was probably the best pommel horse coach in the country. And what he reiterated to me every day while I was in college, it still just resonates. And any USA gymnast that ever had Dave Jessic coach them will tell them the same thing. Just quarter positions on their pommel horse circles. Mm-hmm. Quarter. Just break it into those quarters. And you were doing the same thing. It was just something that you were actually teaching to that crew as well, those same quarter positions. Is that how you were taught?
Honestly, I don't remember. I just kind of thought that would be a good idea because I remember how frustrating it was. Yeah, I'm sure you remember, like, getting your first circle took like a year of working on it every day, in the bucket and everything. And I just remember I'd always get to that 3/4 position and just go flying off to the left. So yeah, it just made sense to like break it into quarter positions. And then, yeah, I think it's probably a good way to teach it just because you can learn to lean the proper amount and everything. But that makes me feel good knowing I was coaching it the right way.
Well done. So the other reason why I wanted to bring it up as well, aside from your clear coaching prowess, is we had Boz on the podcast a couple weeks ago, and basically the week of the games, and we were like poking and prodding and seeing whether or not he would give us any information on what was going to be announced the games. And he's like, I can't really say anything, but I was like, did you see, because you had posted just circles at that time, maybe that week.
Okay.
And I was like, what about some circles on mushroom or any higher level gymnastics in terms of seeing a CrossFit Games athlete do a basic routine of some kind, seeing a routine at the games, whether that's rings, pommel horse, parallel bars. What do you think about a low level gymnastics routine being incorporated to the games at some point?
Yeah, I think it would be really cool. I just feel like it would be so unfair for like if somebody like me was competing, or Pat Vellner, anybody that has a gymnastics background would just get an automatic win on that. I think it would be a cool like just like a video or a series for CrossFit to do. Just take like here's our top athletes or top finishers from the games, and to see how they do with like a level 5 compulsory routine or something. I think that'd be cool.
I think it would be reminiscent of looking at some of the first games and some of the athletes trying to do their interpretations of snatch and clean and jerk. So it could just be like
their interpretive. It was an interpretive dance of clean and jerk.
Yeah, totally. I mean, you're a testament of that, Cody. Of like, and not that you lifted like that, but that you're a great weightlifter, and so many CrossFitters have just turned into really, really technically proficient weightlifters. So maybe it's time for the gymnastics side of things to level up from just the scorpion handstand walk and head crushing handstand push-ups.
Yeah, that's a good point, because I think it's easier to make weightlifting harder by just adding weight, but to make gymnastics harder, like a harder gymnastics test at the games, I think takes a lot more creativity. So I give props to Boz and Dave the last couple of years of just still coming up with stuff that challenges people.
Are you still following CrossFit? I know you're not participating competitively anymore, and you've transitioned into more tactical games, which we can get into. But are you still following along? Do you still enjoy the watching of the games and watching what's going on in terms of the continued development of the sport?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I watched the games this year, and I mean, it's the methodology I use in training, and I own a CrossFit gym, so I'm still very deep in the CrossFit world. Just no longer the full-time job competing.
Michael,
I thought you froze for a second.
No, I want you to jump in with your questions about weightlifting, because prior to the call, we were just watching you lift, Cody, and while I wanted to jump in and talk about your gymnastics, your lifts are just so impressive, especially at your body weight.
Thanks,
and I'm not the one to ask questions about weightlifting, so I wanted Mike to be able to walk through some of the things that he's noticing with your lifts.
Yeah, and Cody, I know you have a good reputation of being a polite guy, so I have a tendency to like cut Dave off so much that now I get cold feet to jump in when I want to say something. So for people that were a little worried there when there was a pause, I was just trying to be polite, even though I'm itching to talk a little bit of weightlifting with you. We've had a series of gymnasts and breakdancers and a lot of our favorite CrossFit friends, but not so many that are what I would hope to find out lovers of weightlifting, like I'm assuming you are.
Yeah, cool. That means you're growing. Good job not interrupting him.
Yeah, I'm trying. Like, we can't stop. Yeah. No, I'm curious. I know you have a good connection with Catalyst, and I'm familiar with them and a lot of respect for them. But just going back into your gymnastic days, into the CrossFit days, had you tried snatching or clean and jerking prior to CrossFit?
No, I don't think I'd really done any weightlifting before. So I started CrossFit right after high school when I was 18. So after being a gymnast from like 8 to 12, I played a lot of video games and ate a lot of junk food. So, yeah, that was my first time really doing any kind of weightlifting besides like bicep curls and machine stuff in the gym. So I was but having a gymnastics background, as I'm sure you guys know, just helped a lot with just awareness of where your body is in space and all that kind of stuff.
That part I'll agree with. The part that you have that's beautiful that a lot of gymnasts don't have, you have a great front rack position. Was that maybe just since you were, gymnast until you were 12, so you didn't develop the like obnoxious lats and bicep tightness?
Whoa.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, that's been a weird one for me. Like, even as we teach it, of like trying to get people to learn to turn their lats off a little bit, because you're like working against yourself to get your elbows up. But yeah, I don't know. For whatever reason, I understood the assignment. Get your elbows up.
the nuances of the position. No, you're we were talking about it before the call, and Jordan and Dave, they always come to me like, especially when we have some of the female CrossFitters on, like to compare numbers and things. And I would say you're probably one of the few male CrossFitters that if you wanted to be, you would very much be a competitive weightlifter. Like, just get in and go. Like, I know you've competed a little bit, but your numbers.
Yeah, I tried 1 year
awesome.
And then bombed out on the snatch at nationals.
And that breaks my heart a little bit, because
I know.
I remember that. What year was that?
I think that was before COVID, so 2019.
Mm-hmm. And I remember I was excited to see you enter. And then I guess a good question from me, and I get some varying answers from CrossFitters, but what do you think happened in that bomb out scenario?
It was a combination of a whole bunch of things. I think looking back, it was good for me. It was kind of embarrassing, but I think I had a little bit of an ego. Like, I'm successful in the CrossFit world, so I should be able to just come into this sport and crush it. So we probably picked numbers that were a little high. I think we opened at like 134, and I had snatched like 137 or 138 before that. So it wasn't I wasn't opening with a PR or anything, but yeah, I feel like doing a sport, you learn the nuances of stuff so much, of just like, rolling the bar into the right position. So I think on all 3 of those attempts, the bar was like a little bit in front of me. It wouldn't roll as easy as it does in the gym. So just small stuff like that. And when you're, so close to your max, even something small like that is going to make a big difference. So, but it was a good learning experience, and I'd like to try again at some point.
I I would beg you to do it, because yeah, it's that can't be your only experience there. And we just got done with our Power Monkey camp, and another big time weightlifting proponent, Easy Muhammad, was there with us. And he was saying, especially after this games and seeing the weightlifting event that they did, he would love to see a straight up weightlifting competition at a CrossFit Games where they have to do it in the format that weightlifters do it. So
yeah, you get one attempt. Yeah.
The gaming, the weighting, they have to have a coach that's able to count attempts, like all the specifics that go into it. How do you think that would go over?
The coaching might be hard, because I know some people don't come with a coach, but yeah, maybe nowadays everybody has someone. But I think that would be great, because it's just another way of testing it in a way that's kind of more high pressure. And I think you would see maybe more mistakes, which would be heartbreaking, but I think it could also be cool just because it's different than anything they've ever done before.
Absolutely. And Dave and Jordan, you guys, I know you've watched weightlifting, but probably haven't experienced the feeling of it. And like at the CrossFit Games, the weightlifting events are always insane to watch, because people hit PRs or get super close to PRs, whether it's after they did something fatiguing, or in this case at the games, it was like, here's your chance, hit something big, wait like 5 minutes for everybody to go again, and then hit it again. And that's like one level of testing. But the mental test of Olympic weightlifting as a sport, where there's so much anticipation of your warming up. There's so much time to think about what doesn't feel right. So you can be warming up, and then things just start to not feel very good. And then you have more time for doubt. And then you walk out to do your first attempt, which I'm guessing you experienced there. It's just a different feeling than being at a CrossFit competition where maybe everybody else is also doing it, and there's maybe some chaos and commotion. It's like everything just turns into a black hole onto you, and you can't see anything, hear anything, and all of a sudden you just have to go.
For sure. I think that's a huge difference between weightlifting and like the CrossFit world, and even gymnastics. It's like we're not used to having just the attention 100% on us. You're the only one on the platform, or the only one in your station doing something. So, like you're saying, the mental aspect of that is much different, a lot higher pressure.
The closest thing, and then it makes me like go back to like Pee-wee sports or something, is when you're either a pitcher or a batter in baseball. Like it's the closest thing to it in terms of like everything is focused on you, and it's such a millisecond away from success or failure.
That's what makes the sport so fun to watch, though. And the more you do it, I think the more of an appreciation you have for stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. So all of our listeners, if you haven't had the chance to experience a weightlifting competition, please go out and do it. It's my one pitch for that right now. I try to get as many people that I work with to at least experience it. It's fun. It's a fun challenge. It also gives you a lot of respect for what the professional weightlifters are putting themselves through emotionally there. And I know, Dave, you can connect to that side of the angst of being a high level competitor on a very specific stage.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you bring it up to Boz at all? Just put it in his ear to make a suggestion when you saw him at camp?
I haven't brought that one up yet, just because it was Easy's idea. So I'm going to start like a petition, I think, and I'll put it up there if Easy will sign off with me, and then maybe we can start. It
has to be like in its own day though, because
that event
would last way too long.
That was Easy's. That was his idea, and maybe you can give the pro or the negative on this one. He was even saying, we could do like a couple true tests. So maybe it would be like a day where you do the weightlifting competition, like the first day they're there. And then that's followed by something that's like the 5K, or that's like a 1 mile time trial, or whatever those would be, where you get like a couple pure sport tests. And then you can go into the more diverse and unique tests that they've been offering.
All right. I think we got something to pass along to Boz. Write the petition up, Mike. Write it up.
Right. I'm ready to go. I've got support now. Cody, will you be on my support team here?
Sure. Yeah. I'm cool to be at the ground level on that. If we see it in 2024, we'll know who started it.
Cody, you're an affiliate owner yourself. Actually, not that far away from us. We're in Oregon as well now. We're in Portland, but my wife's aunt lives, I think we looked it up yesterday, about 9 minutes from your box, and we go out there every once in a while. So
you guys got to drop in next time then.
Yeah, exactly. Next time I'm in Central Oregon, I'll come out your way. But as an affiliate owner, How do you differentiate your programming? What do you put an emphasis on particular areas of programming? Is technique focus coming with your background a part of a big part of maybe what separates your gym from others? We saw a lot of kind of explosive work that you put into your own training, a lot of kind of grunt work that you put into your own training. How would you kind of say that your members, what do they experience when they're under your tutelage as an affiliate owner?
Yeah. We try to write our programming, or I try to write the programming pretty balanced, stay true to CrossFit, but like you're saying, with an emphasis on technique and stuff. I think it's gotten a lot better the last like 5 to 10 years of CrossFit, but in the early days, it was just Wild West. Like, Mike was mentioning, snatches and clean and jerks didn't look like snatches and clean and jerks were supposed to look. So our priority is to get people moving well, just with gymnastics and with Olympic lifting and everything else. And then add the intensity factor, which I guess CrossFit teaches that. We just don't always stick to it. But yeah, it's always like we had a local competition here a couple years ago, and the person who was putting it on was just like, they mentioned that our athletes had the best movement and were the easiest to judge out of anybody. And so that was like a big point of pride for me. So yeah, definitely a stickler for that kind of stuff. And I've seen, after focusing on it now for 5 years, it's been injury rates much lower, and it's given people a lot more longevity in the, whether you call it a sport or just fitness methodology.
I love it. And do you ever try to incorporate higher level skill development into your training? Like, do you just do superhuman tricks for the members to watch, like flares on plates? Or do you say, hey, we're going to have cycles where you're going to work on pullovers and you're going to work on things that you might see at the games, because we're going to take a more technical approach to it?
We haven't done anything like that crazy. Pullovers would be fun to try. I think it's hard as an affiliate owner when you have people that are like such a broad spectrum of fitness. You have somebody who just started that doesn't even have a pull up yet. And trying to juggle that as a coach, if you have people at all kind of different skill levels. So I try not to overwhelm my coaches too with the stuff that I program. So we're not doing flares and circles and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, we do take intentional time. I like on the minute work a lot for weightlifting and for gymnastics. So if, we're working muscle up, okay, pick a drill, you're going to do that every minute for 10 minutes just to get some skill work in, or handstand walking, stuff like that. That's probably the most technical thing we would do on a regular basis. I think we've thrown like cartwheels or something in there for fun before too, but
yes, that was cartwheels, mushrooms with buckets, parallel bars, back rolls, forward rolls, back extension rolls, baby giants, what we saw basically people doing at the games that were supposed to be pullovers, and they turned out to be baby giants, 3/4 giants. Those are all things that we had in the CrossFit Level 2 gymnastics course that I had put together a decade ago. And people were actually starting to work on those things. So it's nice to see that maybe there's a place for those things if the baseline is correct. If you have a coach there that's understanding the importance of making sure good movement is a good foundation. But it's always nice to hear from someone that takes pride in longevity and technique with their members and actually has figured out a way to implement it, because we're always about technique. We're teaching courses all over the world. And one of the questions that we get asked the most by owners and coaches is, yeah, this is great, but I have an hour. How do I actually implement these things and still get to my watt? How do I still have time to be able to, get these people to be sweating each day? And so it seems like you figured out a way to be able to combine the two.
Yeah, it's not all the time too. Maybe we'll have like once every 2 weeks or something, a really kind of focused skill session before a shorter workout. But I can definitely, as an affiliate owner, I can feel for people. It's easier to just be like, okay, we're going to deadlift and then do a Metcon or something. Like weightlifting, I think, is easier to incorporate than gymnastics is, because everybody's doing the same movement versus maybe doing, 5 or 6 different variations of a movement depending on a person's ability level. But it is doable. You just got to be creative.
Yeah. I got one more question about CrossFit stuff, Mike, and then you can jump in. No, it's okay. That was my fault there. See, you could have jumped in there, Mike. You weren't stepping on my words. Just from this year's CrossFit Games, or last year, since there was a lot of gymnastics movement, is there one workout that you wish you could have done at the games, either 2022 or 2023?
I need to like look at a list of all of them. I mean, so many of them are really cool. I thought Boz did a great job last year and this year. That sandbag, whatever you call it, ladder that they had last year.
Oh, last year. Yeah, that was.
I think that was the coolest lifting event I've seen at the CrossFit Games for whatever reason. I'm not even that good at sandbags. I don't think I would have been anywhere near the top, but I thought it was just cool. And like seeing people that were smaller doing something they weren't supposed to do, bring a 300-pound bag up to their shoulder. The pullovers were cool. I think that was a cool workout too. And I think I would have liked to try that. What was it? It was like ski, hand over hand sled pull, and then the parallel bar.
Oh yeah, with the pirouette
combo.
Yeah.
I saw all kinds of. I was getting frustrated watching that with some of the people like turning and pausing, and then But yeah, those are pretty cool. I mean, they're all, like I said, Boz did a great job, but those are some pretty cool events.
The sandbag one was a favorite for us, right, Mike?
Yeah, as a weightlifter, it's fun to see people lift stuff, and I can't get angry with those. But I have to argue with you on I think you would have done very good at the sandbag one. Just from my observations of you doing this goblet squat with 203-pound kettlebell. I just told the guys I would be so scared that the kettlebell would just continue to go with me, just like break my chest. So
I guess I was confident in my ability to bail backwards, but that was my third attempt.
Okay, I wanted so my question was going to be what in that moment, and let's say third attempt, were you more nervous to be able to make that at a third attempt, or if you had to snatch 300 for a third attempt?
Oh, 300 for sure. I knew I could do that. I mean, you can do a 200-pound squat. Yeah, I was just getting it up there. That was the hard part. But yeah, a little bit sketchy. That's why I did it on like 2 3/4-inch mats to make sure I didn't destroy our parking lot. Yeah, dropping the kettlebell, but
is an absolute beast.
And it is.
Mike, I'm shocked that to you, who's squatting every day, you did what 275-pound Cossack squat, overhead Cossack squat. Like, what to you is so frightening about this?
The change of direction. That's like
I think it's getting it up to the front rack that he's saying is the concern.
It's definitely the hardest part.
Anybody that has not watched Cody do this, it's like funny and maybe not for everybody else. That still is to me one of the more. You do a lot of impressive things, but that one, I think I've watched that video more than all the other ones. So I'm just like, oh, that's like just knowing, because you're not a heavy guy. What do you weigh right now?
I'm like 170-ish.
Yeah. So like that's. Yeah, just carrying that is already a chore, and then starting to swing it. And anyways, I won't labor too much on that, but I do want to stay in the questioning realm. We had a question from the audience prior to this recording, and it was one Mr. Hepner. And he is curious to your confidence in beating him at the next event where you two will be competing against each other. So can you give us a little insight into this?
He said he was going to start talking trash, and I'm nervous about it now.
Okay.
No, he's going to beat me. Dude, he's put so much work into his shooting lately, or not just lately, ever since he started competing there. And I feel like I'm just living in his shadow for the next... I need another 2 years before I'm on his level, I think.
This is for the tactical games, correct?
Yeah, for tactical games. I mean, that's been so fun because I hadn't shot a gun, period, until probably January of last year. So it's kind of like starting CrossFit again for the first time. You're like a total novice at everything and just learning. And it's fun because I guess like the longer you do a sport, the more work you have to put in to make smaller improvements. So when you're starting something brand new, you can see your progress like day to day. Everything you do has such a big impact on your improvement. But yeah, Jacob has worked his butt off. He's gotten really good he was already very fit, and he's a very good shooter now.
So for a lot of our audience, give it a little rundown of what Tactical Games is, so that people who are new to it understand what the event looks like.
So Tactical Games, it's like I always describe it as like CrossFit and shooting sport combined, but it takes all the parts of CrossFit that I'm good at out. So it's just heavy stuff, moving heavy sandbags. You're wearing a plate carrier or a weighted vest for everything that you're doing. So it's it would be very practical maybe not practical, physically practical for what you would be doing in like a military or law enforcement's maybe a stretch, but
zombie
that kind of
apocalypse
sense
type situation.
Yeah, if there's civil war or something breaks out, then get together with your tactical games buddies and your odds of survival will maybe rise. But yeah, so a lot of really high emphasis on, it's about 50-50 fitness, but then shooting, and not just shooting, but accurate shooting. And if you've never tried to shoot accurately before, you can't really, I mean, same as not doing a weightlifting competition before, you really have an appreciation for how difficult it is once you start learning it. But yeah, so basically you'll have a time for a workout, and you'll do, let's say you're doing like C2 bike and then like carrying a sandbag from A to B, and it's all very easily judged stuff. There's not like, did they get below parallel on the squat, anything like that. It's like pass fail kind of stuff. And then for every miss that you have outside of the target that you're shooting, you get like, it depends on the event, but let's say like a 10-second penalty. So it's pretty significant. You can't just be fit and expect to do well. You need to be good at both. And to be able to know where your red line is and just stay right below that, so you're not going beyond that, and then you can't do anything accuracy wise with shooting. But I don't know if that makes sense, but
that makes sense to me. I actually love that idea. Mike, we've talked about it. Maybe Jordan, you've done workouts with me before too. Like, I love putting workouts together that have the intensity component, but then force accuracy and balance in. So while you're under fatigue, so adding in some balance components while your heart rate is raised to focus you a little bit more rather than just kind of running into a wall. So doing handstand holds with precision, like doing a freestanding handstand hold in the middle of a round. So this idea of actually having to try to manage heart rate while you're doing an intense workout and trying to be precise, to me, that actually adds an element that we don't see too often in the CrossFit settings, which is kind of cool.
I think that would make a great CrossFit Games event, actually, if you had like a bunch of thrusters and then had to walk across a balance beam or something.
Yeah, absolutely.
A couple of rounds. That'd be sweet.
Absolutely.
Do you practice? Do you train your tactical games training? Do you do that at the gym somewhere? Do you have like a shooting range out back, or how do you train? Like, where do you go for this? Do you bring a sandbag to the shooting range?
Yeah, we just have like public land that you go out to usually. So there's a range probably 45 minutes away from where we live, but
so you run to the range like 45 minutes and then you
yeah,
shoot.
Exactly.
I got it. Perfect.
Yeah.
With your ruck on.
Yes.
with your ruck on. So
yeah,
Cody,
it takes you about 3 hours.
I think I've seen in the past is Greg, is he doing some tactical games training? So do you do that together?
He's been in it. Well, he started before me. I think I don't know if he's out of the sport for good. I know he was having some cervical neck stuff. I'm not sure where he's at in his recovery there anymore, but yeah, he hasn't. The last time I saw him, we competed in Bend, together here where I live. I think that was the last one that he did. So it's probably 1.5 years since his last one. But yeah, he started like almost at the very beginning of when the sport started. So he would be a good person to talk to about that too, actually.
Yeah, that would be interesting to hear from a weightlifting
an OG
component, and then get So I don't know if you guys caught those. Greg Everett from Catalyst. I've seen him the past few years got more and more into that, and I'm pretty sure. Well, yeah. Who else? I mean, I guess I don't have to guess. You know more than me. Is that growing in terms of people that were in the CrossFit community, weightlifting community, other people you've been around? Who else is in it?
Yeah. Last year we had quite a few people. E Church, she competed at the games. When did she? I think she went in 2017. Mm-hmm. Margot Alvarez has been doing it. And we have like a lot of people that were like regional level competitors.
Jared Fleming, he competed at one, didn't he?
I don't know.
I thought I saw him a couple years
familiar.
ago. Because he moved out to Utah a while back, and it seems like as you get closer to the Great Plains into the Pac Northwest, that's where all the tactical games people are.
Yeah, we need more events in the Northwest. They only do, I think they did 2 this year, but it would be nice to have some more close to home. But yeah, Jared Stevens too. He's big in CrossFit for a while. So yeah, I think more and more people are trickling in, but it was probably Greg was the first like kind of I don't know if you'd call him a CrossFit person, not really. He was weightlifting world. And then Jacob, I think, was probably the first like notable CrossFitter that kind of started doing that.
All right. Well, I have one request then, Dave. Whenever you and Sadie are at her aunt's, and you drop in, I want you to do a tactical training session with Cody.
That'd be awesome.
100%. I'd love to.
Dave, have you ever shot a gun?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Checking. Well, I guess it makes sense. You are from Jersey. So.
They called him Stanford Rambo. He was Stanford.
Yeah. Right. No, we have we did a couple of times when I was a kid. It's not like something that was part of my childhood at all, but the Pine Barrens in New Jersey is we'd go out shooting there growing up a little bit. And then I've done like shooting golf. Have you ever guys done that before? It's actually kind of cool. You're on a golf cart and they have like 18 holes and you play with partners and it's clay shots and you play like a couple clay holes and you do 18 of them. It's awesome.
Sweet.
I've definitely never heard that one. All right.
In Virginia, where Sadie and I
was
get
just gonna say
married.
that sounds way more like an Ohio sport that I should have grown up with. Where I grew up, but it was not.
Yeah, it was a blast. So I've done that a few times, but I would be happy to come out and make believe I know how to shoot a gun with you, Cody.
One of my. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go for it.
I was just gonna say one of the coaches who works for me was a Green Beret, so he could teach you well. He's the one who taught me everything I know.
All right. I'm looking for those giant leaps while being a novice. So hopefully a couple sessions will go a long way. Having an active outside lifestyle seems to be in your wheelhouse. And part of it is rucking a lot. And rucking seems to be a part of what you're doing with tactical games. But it also seems to be something that's growing substantially, like people just going out and rucking. Has that become part of just your daily training? And do you see that as like a good transition from what you're doing? It seems to be exploding like everywhere. I saw an article on CNN about just rucking in general. And I'm just curious from your perspective, where you see the benefits of just going out with the pack on and kind of getting a hike in.
Yeah, I think it definitely breaks up like the tedium of if you're just like trying to run all the time. And for me, I'm always afraid of doing too much cardio and losing weight. It's kind of a joke, but also deep down a little bit of a worry. But yeah, and then just being involved with like Go Ruck, they're kind of, I think, dipping their toes into a lot of different places too. So I think they're a big part of it, and they've been an awesome company to work with. So they were probably the reason that I started doing it. And it depends on the time in the season, how much I'm doing it. So right now, leading up to Tactical Games Nationals is in November. So rucking once or twice a week to kind of get ready for that. But yeah, and I think it's just fun. You can just do like a brisk walking pace if you just want like an okay workout where your heart rate's kind of staying at like a zone 2 kind of deal. Or you can push it, as if your ankles and knees can handle it, work up into that slowly. But that's a great workout too. So if you don't like running, rucking is maybe a better way to do it. I think it can be easier on your joints, knees and ankles if you're just doing like a power walk, but it's still hard enough that you're getting a good workout, if that makes sense.
Mike loves that idea.
I'm enjoying this so much. Cody, I got forced into not forced. I got asked kindly, and then my wife
lovingly pushed into,
lovingly encouraged to do a big running event with the Power Monkey team, Portland Hood to Coast. Have you heard of that?
Yeah.
All right. Maybe we need to get you and your lady out on our team for that. Maybe
that'd be sweet. We were talking about doing that as a gym, actually.
As much as I'm kind of like making light of it, was super fun, and I didn't do any really running to lead up to it because I rolled my ankle, and then the whole time I didn't want to run, but it was super fun. But now that you're talking about the rucking and like being able to walk and still get fit, that you're speaking my love language right now.
Yeah,
we've been trying to get.
It's definitely fun.
We've been trying to get Go Ruck and work with them for our camp because we have some amazing trails through the woods, and we'd love. And Margot's a big part of our Power Monkey team. We just came back from our 10-year anniversary for our Power Monkey camp, and I would love to be able to incorporate that into camp. I think that's a missing piece of us being able to use more of the woods and getting people more outside. And Cody, if you have some levers to pull over there at Go Ruck, let's see if we can make you a Go Ruck ambassador to come out to camp and get people rucking.
That'd be awesome. I'd totally be down. We've got a call next week, so I'll bug them about it.
I feel like
Amazing.
if Cody comes to camp and then there's a rucking event and we have Martone there already, then that means there's going to be some type of tactical immersion that Martone will push for.
We can shoot
Is it
airsoft
going to
guns
be?
or
Is it going to
something.
be like rucking and stabbing? Because I don't think
That's true,
that's an okay biathlon. Martone's not allowed to. He had a lot of hand-to-hand combat that we're trying to teach at camp too, so we might have to
Nice.
start there.
You guys do everything.
That's quite a bit. And in fact, one of the new additions that I wanted to chat with you about is we're slowly moving towards Power Monkey Camp becoming pickleball camp, and it's just going to be Pickle Monkey Camp without a doubt. Like,
Heck yeah.
people have started to slowly take over the weightlifting spaces and the gymnastics and just put more pickleball courts down. And people are bringing their own paddles. They're training for it. Some heated rivalries are building up at camp. It seems like you've jumped on the pickleball train as well. Is it something that is fairly recent for you, or you're kind of still a novice? Where are you at with it?
We've dabbled. Yeah, dude. We had some people from our gym start this year, and then all of a sudden, kind of same as what you were saying, we had like 30 people on a Saturday taking over every court at the park. So yeah, my wife and I followed suit. So we're definitely, I mean, we've been playing for like 6 months or something, but it's so much fun. I don't really understand why. I mean, I don't hate tennis or anything else, but I'm not playing it every weekend. But all we want, like, we'll probably play pickleball this evening too, as long as the sun's out.
You know what? I don't get the hate from tennis so much. Is it because tennis courts are being like taken over by pickleball, or is it the sound?
I wonder about that.
Yeah, I wonder, like, there's so much hate from the tennis community, and I love tennis. I love watching tennis. I play tennis a little bit, like, just for fun growing up. But pickleball is just easier, right? It's like easier to set up. You know, you don't need as much. And to me, it's still a great workout, and it's just entertaining. So I'm like, I just don't get all the hate from the tennis community. Like,
it's like they're like elitist or something. They're like the purest version of the sport.
I love it, but I want to give Jordan's take on how bad he was beat at camp by myself and one Miss Kathy Malloy. I want to give a shout out to 74-year-old Kathy Malloy.
Is that how old she is? 74?
74. Me and Kathy beat Jordan and Jake, one of our other interns for the media team, who is quite stellar pickleball player himself. We beat you guys in overtime, 12-10. Do you remember that game?
I do. Kathy was she was playing some psychological games with me on the court. Like, you know, she's just a savage out there. I don't know what else to say about it.
She's quite good. She's quite good. She takes lessons, and we kicked your ass pretty good. So I just want to make sure the world knows, at least pickleball. I mean, the Power Monkey world remembers what happened. I do get to edit this
podcast, so this part might come out. But, you know.
Cody, have you been fortunate enough to meet Fee Sagafi?
I don't know if we've met. I think her first year might have been 2019 or something at the games. So I don't think we've met.
All right. Well, if you haven't met her, and anybody that has met her will relate, she's just one of the sweetest humans in the world. And this is connected to pickleball. Dave, you and Jordan were not there, but she was in a very heated game at the end of camp. And I can't actually remember who did it.
I think I watched it. She was playing with Jay on her team,
Jay?
Right? And they were playing against Crystal and Evan.
Yes. So Evan,
she was an animal.
Yeah, but no, this is not her animal. She got nailed with the ball, like almost at where like the Adam's apple would be, and like almost went down. I've never seen, like, I thought, yeah, pickleball's like safe, so it's like better to play. I was already like, when that happened, I thought, okay, now we're gonna have to have like head protectors and like shields and stuff for people to play with. So
you can put your pickleball helmet on.
Yeah, have you noticed that with your CrossFit community? They're just mutants and too strong, so they like hurt each other with the pickleball.
Oh, dude, it does hurt sometimes if you get hit. I mean, it's not gonna.
She was protecting the net
out of the game, but
I mean, it was 4 inches from like right in the face. Thank God she just like got married, so it wouldn't have messed up like for wedding pictures. But yeah, she got nailed. Sophie, if you're listening, I hope you're okay from that moment.
Recovering from her injury.
CrossFitters taking everything to the next level.
Yes, everything is a competition.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, another thing that will hopefully entice you to come out to camp, we got some places where you can ruck. We got some weightlifting, some rings. We got all the things that make you happy, plus pickleball. So we'd love to have you out at a camp sometime in the future, man.
I'm
It is
down. I'd love
Tennessee,
to.
so I'm sure we can find a shooting range for you if you need to practice it all during the week. Like, I don't think that'll be tough.
Yeah, we can do some
Actually,
dry fire in the corner.
There's been some
safely.
shooting on our property. I know Mr. Craig goes hunting on the property every once in a while during hunting season. So it's big enough. 150 acres. You got some space.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah. Well, before get you out of here, man, we got some quick questions for you if you're up for it.
Sure.
All right. First one. I really don't know where we're going to go with this one. Mike, do you have any inclinations? What do you think? Yeah, just don't say anything, but do you think you know?
I'm leaning one way. Yeah, I'm leaning one way.
All right.
We're making this out to be way bigger than it probably is, Cody. But I hope
this is a big deal in the power monkey world.
Yeah.
All right. I'm excited.
What sport or discipline do you prefer, weightlifting or gymnastics?
Oh,
Just go with your
now
heart.
gymnastics.
Yeah, now yes.
If you asked me like 2 or 3 years ago, it would have been weightlifting, but I've been having fun revisiting the
Very
stuff.
current.
That's what
Yeah.
I
we
knew we
talked
should have
about.
had you. I knew we
That's the
should have
main
had you
reason
on
why I didn't
when we
have him
wanted.
come on the podcast before now, because
See, Jordan knows where the allegiances need to lie. Well done. Thank you for that point in my corner. We still have not totaled, but I'm way ahead of Mike right now.
Yeah.
Way ahead.
Heck yeah. Sorry, Mike.
It's okay. You chose the winning team. I can't blame you for that.
Actually, when we had Mike on the podcast, because I used to host with Chad Vaughn, Mike didn't even pick weightlifting. He was as diplomatic as you would expect service to be, and he said, "I enjoy both of them." So Mike was someone that couldn't even choose weightlifting himself.
My guest host position. I had to
Exactly.
Too nice.
butter up the boss.
Question number 2. Any guests that you think would be great for us to have on the podcast? Someone that maybe you interact with regularly or come across recently that might be a good interview?
You guys should have Jacob on, and I can send in some
we've had him on.
harassing.
But we should
questions.
have him
him
again
back
just
on.
for your
We should
benefit.
have you guys both on after the
That would be
tactical
cool.
games and see how it goes.
When he was on though, didn't he do the podcast from the parking lot of a strip joint?
club? Yeah.
Yes, he did, because it had the best Wi-Fi in town.
That sucks.
Or so he says.
That was the best.
Yes. Yeah, I remember that. His amazing barn didn't have good Wi-Fi, so he had to drive in. So I think that's a good idea. We should have you both back on after tactical games and see how it goes.
Oh, that would be nice. The tactical game recap.
Last question here. If you are a book reader, is there a book that you've been reading recently that you recommend? If not, a TV show or movie that you've come across recently that you enjoyed?
Yeah, I have ones for all of those. My brother is super into nonfiction, or not nonfiction. Sorry, fiction. And he gave me a book that's now I'm blanking it. I think I have it right here actually. I think the first one is called Traitor's Blade. So if you're into like fantasy fiction kind of stuff, that was a good book.
All right.
And then shows. We just finished. Have you guys heard of Jury Duty?
I watched the first episode. It's unbelievable.
You have to have a specific sense of humor. If you like the show, you can be good friends with me. That was a pretty good show. It's like everybody is an actor except one person, and they just act like just weird enough for him to not realize that it's all fake. But there's some pretty funny moments in there. My wife and I just finished that 2 days ago.
I want to go back to your book real quick. Do you like fantasy in general? Because I heard on another podcast that you went through a stint of LARPing. Was that?
What podcast was that?
Jordan dug deep.
I dug very deep.
Is this true?
I don't even remember saying that. Yeah, we did. Never like seriously, but like in the way that's like ironic so much that it becomes unironic. When we like right out of high
That
school.
reminds me of you ever seen The Other Guys?
Because you're all laughing.
No, you ever seen The Other Guys where Mark Wahlberg learns to dance ironically to make fun of a dancer?
He gets super into it.
Can one of you describe LARPing to Mike? Has never heard of the word.
What is it? It stands for live action role playing. You like I don't know. It's
okay.
like people that take it super serious. Well,
What an
actually, have
acronym.
you seen what's the movie where that's where we got the idea when we were teenagers.
Role models.
Yeah, role model.
Okay.
And McLovin's in it, right? He's one of the.
McLovin's in it.
So that's where we got the idea, and yeah, we had some fun times as
you build your own
19-year-old
sword?
weirdos. We did actually. Yeah. We cut up like a little foam thing with a little. I don't even remember how we did it, but yeah, a little duct tape sword. We bought Nerf stuff, and very cringy now looking back on it, but
well, that's
now
good
everybody
because
knows.
this is going to be the sound bite we use on social media.
Really? Yeah. We get you back on for a second time. I think the whole episode can just be about this. I'm very intrigued now. Like,
I'm gonna dress
Breakout
up
session
in
at
like
Power Monkey
a
Camp.
knight helmet and armor and everything next time I'm on.
Fantastic. So, yes, that is going to be a new breakout session at Power Monkey Camp, LARPing for beginners. Making your sword. Maybe we'll just have people make their swords.
Yeah. Arts and crafts station.
You gave us a great show, Jury Duty, worth checking out. Anything else you want to pass along in terms of where people can find you or what you got coming up next?
Yeah, I mean, if you just want to follow me, you can follow me on Instagram, Cody Anderson 2_34. And that's basically where I put everything. So appreciate you guys having me on.
Of course, man. It's great chatting with you. And the fact that we're relatively close distance-wise, hopefully you can meet up in person sometime soon. Keep it on your calendar for 2024 to come out and hang out with the Power Monkey Camp too. Hopefully you can make it happen.
For sure. Would love to.
All right, everybody. As usual, thank you all for listening. Please be sure to head over to powermonkeyfitness.com for services and upcoming events. Check out our Instagram pages for regular teaching and technical content at Power Monkey Fitness, at Dave Durante, and at Mike Service. On behalf of Power Monkey Fitness, we're your hosts. I'm Dave Durante with my co-host Mike Service. And until next time, thank you all for listening.